àti tún ìtàn ẹ̀dá kọ ọ̀nà ẹni òǹkọ̀kan alágbára. àti gbórí ẹ̀dá sókè kò ná ẹni òǹkọ̀kan. ajá hallelujah. 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 Wọ́n ní kó lórí tẹ́lẹ̀, wọ́n fẹ́ bí wọ́n ṣe lè rà. Ìgbàgbọ́ hallelujah. Ìgbàgbọ́ hallelujah. Ìgbàgbọ́ hallelujah. Ìgbàgbọ́ hallelujah. Wọ́n fẹ́ bí wọ́n ṣe lè rà. Wọ́n ní kó lórí tẹ́lẹ̀, ìgbàgbọ́ hallelujah.
This is an Adamimogo 107.7 FM. Idoikiti, the voice of the light.
It's midday.
Top stories, real voices.
Have arrived Lagos, according to authorities in Nigeria.
Tune in to Adamimogo 107.7 FM for a fresh perspective on news. Adamimogo 107.7 FM, the voice of the light.
Good afternoon and welcome to Global Box, your quick talk bulletin around the world on Adamimogo 107.7 FM Idoikiti. In the news, dismissed Adamawa Rek insists he was forced to declare Fintiri winner. African leaders called for the immediate ceasefire at DRC summit. Hamas hands over 3 Israeli hostages in 5th Gaza exchange. Details of these and other stories in a moment. My name is Kingsley Inyavusa, the news in detail. The dismissed Resident Electoral Commissioner, Rek of Adamawa Statehood, Yunusa Ari, has alleged that he was pressured to declare the governor Amadu Fintiri the winner of the controversial 2023 governorship election, despite possessing evidence that the All Progressives Congress candidate, Senator Ashatu Dahiru Binani, rightfully won. Speaking in Bauchi yesterday in an interview with newsman, Yunus Ari accused both the Independent National Electoral Commission chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, and the election tribunal of deliberately ignoring evidence of widespread irregularities. According to him, he and other officials were pressured to declare the Fintiri the winner under threat to their security and swearing by the Holy Quran, insisted that he acted in good faith and followed the electoral guidelines. He also accused INEC's ICT held in Adamawa Bala Aji of compromising the election, alleging that Aji handed over 20,000 sensitive election documents to Governor Fintiri. Furthermore, he claimed that the documents were found in a private house linked to the governor, where the top government officials were allegedly manipulating them. Yunus Ari also alleged that Aji distributed BVAS machines and bribed INEC staff with foreign currency on election day, calling it a blatant abuse of office. He lamented that his reports exposing those violations were ignored by INEC headquarters. A summit of African leaders meeting to address the crisis in the Democratic Republic of Congo on Saturday called for an immediate and unconditional ceasefire within 5 days. The Rwanda-Bara M23 armed group has rapidly seized the switch of territory in the mineral-rich eastern DRC in an offensive that has left thousands dead and displaced vast numbers. The summit in Tanzania brought together Rwanda President Paul Kagame and his Congolese counterpart Felix Tshisekedi, as well as leaders from both the East African Community and sister member Southern African Development Community. Kagame appeared in person while Tshisekedi joined via video call. In the final statements, the summit called for army chiefs, from both communities to meet within 5 days and provide technical direction on an immediate and unconditional ceasefire. Meanwhile, according to local and security sources, fighting was ongoing around 60 kilometers, 35 miles from the South Kiev provincial capital of Bakovo. All right, and now the president has announced that the death of Namibia's founding founder, Sam Nujuma, who led his country's fight for independence from South Africa. He died Saturday at the age of 95. In a statement released today by President Nagolo Mbumba, it said Nujuma had been hospitalized over the past 3 weeks, battling an illness from which he could not recover. Nujuma born to poor farmers from the Ovambo tribe. He was the eldest of 10 children. He took a job as a railway sweeper near the Widock in 1949. While attending knife classes there, he met Hero Troiba, Chief Hosea Kutako, who was lobbying to end apartheid rule in Namibia, then known as Southwest African. In 1960, Nujoma began as leaving his wife and 4 children behind, and was elected president of the Southwest People's Organization, SWAPO, the same year, and shuttled from capital to capital seeking support for the independence cause. SWAPO launched an armed struggle in 1966 after neighboring South Africa refused a UN order to give up its mandate over the former German colony, arguing that it was a buffer against the advance of communism in Africa. The resource-rich sub-Saharan country finally wrested its independence in 1990, becoming one of the last countries in Africa to do so. Nujoma won the first democratic election in 1990 and over his 3 terms presided over a period of relative economic prosperity and political stability. President Donald Trump has revoked his predecessor Joe Biden's security clearance in a blizzard of new orders, while escalating his campaign to dismantle the U.S. humanitarian agency charged with helping the world's poorest and extended American influence around the globe. In a new series of rapid-fire power plays, the 78-year-old billionaire also throws aid to South Africa, where his top donor, Elon Musk, was born, and named himself ahead of one of Washington's premier cultural venues, the Kennedy Center. U.S. presidents are traditionally given the right to receive intelligence briefing even after they step down, and also stepped up his assaults on the United States Agency for International Development, which distributes humanitarian aid globally. Trump administration has frozen foreign aid, ordered thousands of internationally based staff to return to the United States, and began slashing the USAID aid count of 10,000 employees to around only 300. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has sacked Health Minister Andrew Gwan over WhatsApp messages which were badly misjudged. According to a government spokesperson, Starmer was determined to uphold high standards of those in public office, adding that he would not hesitate to take action against any minister who fails to meet these standards. In messages seen in WhatsApp group, Gwan said he hoped a 72-year-old woman would soon be dead, after she wrote to her local councillor about being collections, and also reportedly posted sexist comments about Angela Rayner and racist remarks about Labour Member of Parliament Diane Abbott. However, the Health Minister in a post on X said he was sorry for any offence caused by the badly misjudged comments, stated that he understood the Prime Minister and Labour decision, and while very sad to have been suspended, we support them in any way he could. You're listening to News Express from Adamimogo 107.7 FM, transmitted live from Ido-Ekiti. After the break, Hamas hands over 3 Israeli hostages in the 5th Gaza exchange. Details of this and more in a moment. Please stay with us.
I'm a
Hello, good people of Ekiti State and its environment. For your private, political, family, or club meetings, and so on, of not more than 50 to 100 participants, we introduce to you Adamimogo Event Hall. Yes! Right at Olojudo's Palace, Adamimogo 107.7 FM's compound, Ido Ekiti. Ample parking space, good security, clean environment. You also have the opportunity to book for a media publicity of your event on our fast-growing social media platforms. All these for a talk. Simply visit us at Olojudo's Palace, Ido Ekiti, or call the following numbers for more inquiries: 0803 526 5812 or 0916 340 0878 or 0806 511 4430. You can also call 0806 380 8891 at Adamimogo Event Hall. We are waiting for your patronage.
Glad to know you're still there. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook via Adamimogo 107.7 FM. For happenings around you or news inquiries, please contact our newsroom on this number 0811-801-8242. And now to the rest of the news. Iran Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, Tehran's chief diplomat, has suggested that the country was ready to negotiate with the United States, but not under the maximum pressure strategy of his U.S. President Donald Trump. The foreign minister's statement came after Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei urged the government not to negotiate with Washington, calling such an approach reckless. Khamenei, who has the final say on all the strategic decisions in Iran, referred to Iran's previous experience negotiating with the United States to justify this position. Recall in 2015, Iran struck a landmark deal with the United States, France, Germany, Britain, China, and Russia to regulate its nuclear program in return for the easing of international sanctions. However, in 2018, during this first time, Trump unilaterally withdrew the United States from the agreement and restated heavy sanctions on Tehran, despite the European position. Meanwhile, Trump on Wednesday called for a verified nuclear peace agreement with Iran, adding that it cannot have a nuclear weapon. Iran insists its nuclear program is solely for peaceful purposes and denies any intention to develop atomic weapons. However, the U.S. President restated on Tuesday its maximum pressure policy, with Washington on Thursday announcing financial sanctions on entities and individuals accused of shipping hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Iranian crude oil to China. Hamas militants has handed over 3 Israeli hostages on Saturday as part of the 5th exchange under the fragile Gaza ceasefire, with 183 prisoners held by Israel due to be released later in the day. This comes after U.S. President Donald Trump proposed clearing out the Gaza Strip of its inhabitants and for the United States to take over the Palestinian territory, in a plan that has sparked the global uproar and be rejected by Hamas. Jubilant crowds in Israel's commercial hub Tel Aviv cheered as they watched the live footage of the 3 hostages flanked by masked gunmen brought on stage in Deir Abali before being handed over to the International Committee of the Red Cross. The 3 hostages were identified as Eli Sharabi, Olevi, and Ohad Ben Nami Sharabi. The 52-year-old was at his home in Kibbutz Be'eri with his British-born wife and their 2 daughters when the militants stormed it. In the meantime, 5 farm workers freed by Hamas in Gaza arrived home in Bangkok after spending nearly 500 days in captivity. The released workers from Sasa Tehani, Sandian, Sovanakem, Wacharad Siriano, Banawat Satiao, and Surasak Limano had all been working in southern Israel when they were kidnapped during the attacks in October 2023. A month after regaining freedom, they were emotionally since early hours of today as the 5 men were embraced by fearful relatives at the Bangkok Suvarnabhumi Airport's arrivals hall. Reacting, Foreign Minister Maris Sangabagosa said it was very inspiring to witness their return following their release as part of the ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas. However, according to Fire Foreign Ministry in Bangkok, a total of 46 tired workers have been killed since October 2023. On sports, Brighton's Kaoru Matoma sends Chelsea crashing out of the FA Cup as the Japan star seed a 2-1 win in the fourth round. Chelsea haven't won a domestic trophy since lifting the FA Cup in 2018, and their waits will go on for another season after they blew the lead at the Amex Stadium. Thrashed 7-0 at Nottingham Forest in the Premier League last weekend, Brighton Albion bounced back impressively from the second worst defeat in the club's 123-year history. To end the Global Buzz at noon, a recap of our top stories. The dismissed Residents Electoral Commissioner of Adamawa State, Hudu Yunusa Ari, has alleged that he was pressured, so declared Governor Amadu Finturi the winner of the controversial 2023 governorship election, despite possessing evidence that the All Progressives Congress candidate, Senator Aishatu Dahiru Binani, rightfully won. A summit of African leaders meeting to address the crisis in the Democratic Republic of Congo on Saturday called for an immediate and unconditional ceasefire within 5 days. And lastly, the former Hamas militants has handed over 3 Israeli hostages on Saturday as part of the 5th exchange under the fragile Gaza ceasefire, with 183 prisoners held by Israel due to be released later in the day. That's a Global Box on from Adamimogo 107.7 FM, Olojudo's Palace, Iduikiti. The news was edited and read by Kingsley Iniavusa. Good afternoon.